The following ideas, thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the panel of this podcast are purely for entertainment purposes and are not meant to be taken seriously at all. We are just kidding around. If you are easily offended, this may not be the podcast for you. Some of the conversations and themes of the show may be for mature audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. You have been warned. Enjoy the show.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Ant from the Ant and CJ Show, and as you can see today, I'm here alone. That's right, CJ is unable to join me for today's episode, but it's going to be a brief one. Now, I wanted to hop on video because, as we all know, and unless you're living under a damn rock, Bad Bunny has released his latest album, Debi Tirar Mas Fotos. So, I wanted to provide my honest reaction to it. Now, while other people are playing these songs on their stream and reacting to these songs live, I particularly want to take a different approach. Now, for me, I've gone ahead and listened to this album a total of about, I want to say 10 times fully throughout, no skips, straight through, really dissected it, really took it in, and I just wanted to provide my honest review on it. So let's get into it. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? This is Ant from the Ant and CJ Show.
Ant and CJ Show. The Ant and CJ Show.
The Ant and CJ Show.
The Ant and CJ Show.
The Ant and CJ Show. I never realized that you really do look like the dog from Cat Dog.
That's what? What? Unlimited wishes in exchange for your penis.
Can I wish to be pleasured another way?
Sure. You can get your nipples sucked as much as you want to.
But I can't come.
Not from out of your penis, you can't. Gotta come out of your eyeball. Come on, let's go.
It actually looks fire. So everybody, like I said, today I wanted to provide my honest review in regards to Bad Bunny's latest album. Now, unless you're living under a rock, like I mentioned, Bad Bunny released his latest album this past Sunday, which at the time of this recording was exactly 2 days ago. I love it. There's no other words I can say about it. Now, while everybody out there is giving it mixed reviews, while there's so many people out there that are just straight up hating it and completely stating that it is trash, it's not what they were expecting, it's not what they're used to, it's not what they wanted to hear, it's not what they were waiting all year for, it's not for them, I think the opposite. Quite honestly, in my personal opinion, this is the greatest album that he's released, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. When you look at his progression as an artist, obviously for those of you who've paid attention to him, he started his career as a trap artist, right? A trap artist who was proud of his home, proud of where he came from, proud of his island of Puerto Rico, and has just grown as time has progressed, has just grown into this artist that is now a global superstar, in my honest opinion. Right up there with the ranks of Beyonce, right up there with the ranks of The Weeknd. Just an artist that, while his music is entirely in Spanish, is just able to go ahead and put out music that so many people are gonna listen to, so many people are gonna support. And even if they don't even understand the language, are still going to go to his shows, they're still going to buy his merch, they're still going to listen to his album, they're still going to bump his tracks, and when it comes on in the club, you're going to be jamming to it. But for me, this album just means so much more. To me, this album is a love letter to Puerto Rico. It is an homage to the island that I have roots in, my family has come from, I proudly call my second home. And it's a love letter. It's an album that just goes on to show its love and its support for the island. Now, in my review of the album, or at least my ideas of the album, there's a progression. If you listen to it from start to finish, right? You start off with putting your shoes in place of an individual that's relocating to New York in search of the New York dream, right? Which back then, many, many years ago, a lot of Puerto Ricans were known to do, known to move to the Lower East Side, aka Loisaida, aka where a lot of my family members relocated to when they came from Puerto Rico in search of that American dream, right? And then you transition, and as you transition, it now becomes you have relocated, you've grown a little bit, you take a trip to Miami, enjoy yourself, which is where that reggaeton comes out, that perreo comes out, and then you find yourself making your way back to Puerto Rico and viewing the island in different eyes, right? Viewing the island in, this is my home and what's happening to it. Now we know that Puerto Rico has been in the forefront of many conversations over the course of the last few years. And there's just been so many things that have been occurring on the island, right? There's been so much gentrification. There's been so much devastation. There's been natural disasters. There's been just so much happening to the people of Puerto Rico that now you're looking at it from those eyes and you're just saying, don't let this happen to you. You're so much better than this. And this is where it just becomes that love letter of, you're my home, you're my love, my passion. Don't let them ruin you. Don't let someone come in and just completely devastate and ruin who you truly are. And to me, that hits home. It's emotional. You know, I recently took a trip over to Puerto Rico, and while my financial situations are completely different from what they would have been a couple years ago, and I'm in a much better place to be able to enjoy certain amenities and luxuries that the island has to offer nowadays. You really put yourself into perspective of just idolizing and admiring the beauty. You go to Puerto Rico and everybody is just so welcoming. You just feel like you're at home. Everybody's willing to share a part of their life with you, their island with you, their home, they're just everything with you. And they're just so happy, regardless of any of the situations that they're going through, any political situations that the island is going through, any natural disasters that they might face or have faced over the course of the last few years, any issues with electricity and power constantly flickering in and out and going on and off, and the power surges that consistently happen, and the power outages that occur for hours at end. The people are just still happy and still have found a way to make their lives work and haven't abandoned their home. But then you have those that are being forced out because they don't have the means to be able to provide for themselves anymore, or provide that life that they feel that they should be living. And those are our abuelos and our abuelitas and our just older generation of family members and of just descendants of our lineage and lines of whatever you want to call it, that are being forced out of their homes because now you have los gringos, as we like to call them, right? These developers going in and just pushing them out, getting rid of them. And it's just like, you listen to this album and it really just hits home to you. And now, while it is paying homage to Puerto Rico, like, by no means am I saying you have to be Puerto Rican to understand and really accept this, because that's not the case. This is happening in other countries as well. And whether you're Dominican, Cuban, Mexican, Colombian, Ecuadorian, whatever the case may be, you know, you can really associate and assimilate with some of the situations that have occurred and some of the things that are going on and that are mentioned in this album. And it just really puts things into perspective for you, right? So for me, I love this album. People hate it. Some people say it's the worst thing he's ever put out. But to me, it's so much more. To me, it's home. To me, it's my history, my family's history, my mom's history. My mom lived that progression. My mom lived that life. She traveled from Puerto Rico and moved to the Lower East Side and then moved to East Harlem and West Harlem and then the Bronx and then Manhattan and back to the Bronx and then goes back to Puerto Rico and just remembers all these places where she spent her childhood and where many of us spent our childhoods. I still remember to this day going to my grandparents' home in the mountains in Carolina and going up the driveway with a machete, just knocking out weeds and cleaning up the driveway with my grandfather. May he rest in peace. These are childhood memories that you hold near and dear to your heart. Things that our children are probably not going to have nowadays because of things that are occurring in life and how life has kind of progressed and changed. But this album is just so much more to me. This album is life. This album is history. This is who we are, who I am, who my family is, who many of us are, whether you're Puerto Rican or not. This album is everything. So while many people are out there talking about this is whack, this is not who he is, because they're used to the trap, they're used to the reggaeton, they're used to that boom boom pow, they're used to the perreo. They're not looking at the artistry behind it. They're not looking at the politics behind it. They're not looking at the real meaning of what this album is. And that's where you need to start. So my heart and my graciousness goes out to Benito, aka Bad Bunny, for putting such a work of art out. And thank you for putting such an amazing album out. And an album that I'll continue listening to for many, many days to come. So thank you. And for those of you who share your sentiments with me, I appreciate it. Like and comment. Put your thoughts below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your thoughts on the album if you listen to it? Comment below. This is Ant from the Ant and CJ Show. I am out.